Welcome to Chalk Dirty to Me. Kayley just finished working out. So
Hello.
there she is. Look how cute she is and stuff.
Thank you.
Yep, both mics are on, so we are good to go. I forgot my laptop downstairs, so I don't remember what any of the questions were. I think the first question, we only had two questions. One was a question Kayley asked.
Oh, don't
of
you
why my wife is so pretty. She just came that way.
Yeah, genetics, I guess.
Other question was, what is a peptide, which we explained in my story yesterday, but if you want to explain to the live, we can.
Yeah. It's funny you said you didn't remember, and then you just remembered what they were. So a peptide is a naturally occurring chain of amino acids that your body has within it, and the therapeutic peptides are created in a lab, obviously, to mimic the function and makeup of those in your body. So when you use the therapeutic peptide, they go in, and instead of being like a drug that's a foreign substance that your body doesn't make or whatnot, it's a natural substance that goes in and helps heal the process for your body where it uses those specific peptides. So GLP-1s will help the process in your body for GLP-1s and things of that nature.
And we'll preference this with, we are not doctors.
Not
this
at all.
is just our personal experiences from using peptides. Peptides also help like increase certain hormones, things like that as well through that process by upregulating like your GLP-1 receptors, things like that as well. So
yeah, so I mean, personally, the peptides I've had the opportunity to try so far. What is going on here? It's like some like Dr. Susie thing. So the peptides I've had the opportunity to try so far were semaglutide, which I've recently heard people say it more like semaglutide, which I think it's just an accent thing, but it just sounds funny to me. So semaglutide, which Ozempic, Big Pharma World, they slapped, a name on it and sold it for a bunch of money. And also, I hope you don't get like shadow banned for this. Then there's tirzepatide, which is also GLP-1 plus a little bit extra. And that in the Big Pharma world is Mounjaro, if that's how you say it.
which are both weight loss peptides.
Yes. So those are your common like weight loss peptides. Now there's some lawsuits going trying to make it so people can't get them from compounding pharmacies, which let's talk about cost. Most people think peptides are insanely expensive because you don't go through insurance. If you ask me, that's bullshit. And insurance is insanely expensive for no good reason. Maybe some good reason if something really bad happens to you, but we pay like $12,000 a year and barely use it. So it's $12,000 down the drain.
A good thing that we barely use it, but if like an accident happened, that's when we'd use insurance. So
yeah, and then our
out
of pocket is still $12,000. So
yeah,
I don't know. Anyways, for my experience, when I first did semaglutide, which was the first weight loss peptide I tried, I actually went through a doctor in Washington, D.C., and I really did like her, but the lowest dose that I took was 0.1 or 10 units, and that was still $125 for one injection, which is probably standard to most people, but that's really damn expensive. There are other ways of going about this and other companies and doctors to see that don't cost you that kind of money.
I think the big selling point for them is they already have like everything comes in a insulin needle, very, very tiny needle.
Yeah, and they measured it all out ahead of time, and like Rain would drive into the city and pick up my order of say 10 semaglutide injections. Actually, you'd only get like 4 at a time, I think. So maybe you'd get 4. Anyways, come back and I would have a month's worth of medication. Ended up being, I think the most I spent was $175 an injection, which the most I ever think I took of that is 0.25 or 25 units, which blows my mind because if you take Ozempic, that's their starting lowest dose. And so many people feel like shit because it's way too much. If you feel like shit, most likely you're taking way too much, from my understanding. And so
you're still eating like shit and
well,
not changing the
haven't got
lifestyle.
that part yet, but yes, eat like shit, feel like shit, for sure. But yeah, on the money spectrum, I then decided I stopped using the doctor in DC, mostly because of the money. I was like, this is insane. And then I started using a company called Transcend. And if you know anything about peptides, I promise you've seen like a commercial or something on Instagram, an Instagram ad about Transcend. And I personally, I personally love Transcend. They're based out of Michigan, but I paid $500 and something for like my initial payment, and that included getting my blood test done twice and an initial visit with the doctor and maybe my annual fee. I think it's more of like a concierge doctor type of thing where you pay more of like an annual payment to use them whenever you want kind of thing. So if I want a different peptide now, I can just reach out and say, hey, I want to talk to the doctor, see if this peptide would be a good option for me. Maybe meet with her, and then likely I would be able to get said peptide if it was a good fit. So when I decided, I took semaglutide for 11 weeks, and I lost 20 pounds. I had been very sick and gained 40 pounds, so it was really cool to take that for 11 weeks, lose the 20 pounds. However, I don't eat like trash and I work out quite a bit, so I didn't have a whole lot of side effects. Like, I didn't really ever feel terrible. Like, the first 2 weeks we were tired, but that seems pretty standard. Most people say after that 2 weeks you feel a lot better. I would say sometimes semaglutide made me feel worse than tirzepatide, and we would do like 20-mile bike rides, and I would just keel over because I thought I was going to vomit. It was just too intense, and my insides didn't agree with it. So I personally had a better experience with tirzepatide, not in the weight loss category, but actually like my body, feeling well. And then I will say I tried tirzepatide and lost 20 more pounds.
I was going to say, in between semaglutide and tirzepatide, Kayley took like 3 or 4 months off.
I took 4 months off.
4 months off.
Yeah.
And within those 4 months, so she lost 20 pounds on semaglutide, took the 4 months off, still was eating well, doing her strength training, and she only put on like 5
No, I didn't gain any weight back.
Gain any weight back? Okay.
The first time I didn't gain any weight back. I went from 220 to like 200. I was in 200, 202 range, right? So I stayed right in like a 2-pound range. And in that 4 months, and that included Thanksgiving. And then I purposely didn't take these medications during Thanksgiving because I wanted to be a fatty fat and eat whatever the hell I wanted. So
we had family in town, and we were definitely eating. So
yeah. So after that, I started tirzepatide. I ended semaglutide in July or June, and then I started tirzepatide at the very end of November. I think it was actually the first week of December of 2023. I did, however, not plan to be on tirzepatide as long as I was. I think most people have to take so much of it. So they told me, oh, well, you need enough to cover 4 months. So order 4 vials, which ended up being 7 months worth because I didn't need much. Like, it was very effective at an extremely low dose. So, it ended up dragging out until this past Sunday was my last injection, and I wouldn't have normally taken it that long by any means. You're supposed to take it for a time frame, stop, like let your body like recover from doing it, make your receptors more receptive again, and give your body a break, and then you're supposed to do it again and cycle it. So if I do decide to do tirzepatide again, it will not be until 2025 because I'm going to give my body at least 6 to 7 months off of a GLP-1 medication before I decide to do it again. And I did lose 20 more pounds this time. So I was down to 180 to 183 this morning. So I've been staying in like a few pound range.
And you also didn't titrate up to like the high dosage that
No.
a lot of other people will tell you to titrate up to.
Yeah.
So Kayley actually kept her dosing on that pretty low as well, and it's because she was still seeing results. So
Yeah. So I started at 0.1 for tirzepatide, and the most I ever got up to was 2.2 injections in 1 week. So 40 units total in 1 week. And I was still just losing weight. So from what I understand, the more in shape you are, the less of these your body needs to be efficient. We listened to the Dr. Tina podcast, and if you're already doing good things, you don't need as much. So our decent diet, our decent working out, and it all paid off. I have an extremely insane amount of muscle for some reason. Like I don't know, you can't see it because I was covered in fat. But last time I got a DEXA scan, it told me I was like 124 pounds of just muscle, and I was like, heck yeah. Is that great? I don't know, but it seems like it.
Even with her being sick the years before, she didn't work out for 6 months because she was feeling so bad, and in that time frame she lost 2 pounds of muscle mass, which is absolutely ridiculous. If I didn't work out for 6 months, I'd be I just lose weight, lose my muscle mass, and I'd be probably 130 pounds of just skin and bones.
I attribute it to growing up in Michigan and eating venison straight out the woods my whole childhood. So I don't know, maybe there was a lot of good stuff in those deer. But yeah, so tirzepatide and semaglutide are great GLP-1s. We'll see what happens in the realm of being able to get them. I totally recommend going through Transcend, which I was going to tell you, the most I spent in 1 week taking tirzepatide from Transcend was $77. So for 40 units of tirzepatide, now it's not going to be this way for everybody. Let me preface, I don't know if I got a discount, if what the pricing that I got was standard, I don't know. But I broke it down because I do math. I love math. Both my degrees are in math. I've got my master's in math and a tattoo, and that says I love math. Anyways, so I break everything down because I want to know the numbers. And so I had 800 units, and I broke it down from the cost, and each unit was less than $2. And so adding that up, the most I ever spent, I think, was $77 and some change in a week. So for 40 units of that at $77 versus 10 units going to the other doctor in DC for $125, I'm sold.
Much more affordable.
Yeah, I've saved thousands of dollars going through Transcend versus going to an in-person doctor in DC.
What's up, Leah? Thanks for coming in the live.
Yeah. So yeah, those are the weight loss ones, the cost and whatnot for that. Leah, do you have any questions about peptides? Do you want to know anything specific before we go into the healing peptides?
We were just talking about GLP-1s, which
Yes,
are the
and
weight loss peptides. So if you had any questions about that, feel free to ask. If not, we'll move on to the healing peptides.
Yeah. So the healing peptides that I have got, I actually have no idea what they are, so maybe a basic definition. Sure. A therapeutic peptide, I mentioned this in the beginning, but I'm happy to tell you again. It is a chain of amino acids that your body already produces. And when you use a therapeutic peptide via either a pill, an injection, some even creams, they work with your body and try to enhance the process that your body was already doing with said peptide. So your body already produces GLP-1s. So if you were to take a weight loss peptide, it just helps increase the functioning of your body with that GLP-1.
Yeah, for example, semaglutide is a GLP-1 agonist, which means it just helps it work better.
Yeah. So the helpful healing peptides I have had the luxury of trying would be BPC 157, TB 500. I've tried them both separately and together, and then also KPV. So BPC 157, I feel like a lot of people know about. It's a healing peptide. It helps heal wounds and your muscles and things like that. If you have an injury, it helps your body recover a lot faster. And then TB500 is very similar, but the two of them together are like superpower peptides that help your body recover and heal in a very quick amount of time and help you feel better, build muscle, and just, heal your
They
injuries.
call it the Wolverine stack. So if you're into superheroes or X-Men or anything, Wolverine's got the claws, and if he gets cut or shot or whatever, he heals instantly. So it's not like that, but it is much quicker because it repairs tendons, it repairs ligaments. One of the guys I listened to on podcast, he had a Achilles tear, and there was like always a part of it that just still bothered him. And they started a round of BPC and TB500, and it felt like new. So
yeah, and so BPC 157 is also great for your stomach. And a lot of people with IBS or Crohn's and things like that have tried BPC 157 and really improved their guts. And I'm going to stop moving my hands because it thinks I'm thumbs upping everything. Which, I mean, they're all thumbs up. But they used it to improve their gut. So I have had the luxury of doing both injections for BPC 157 and pills. The pill version for me was BPC 157 and KPV, which KPV is also an insanely awesome, powerful peptide that helps your gut, inflammation, cardiovascular, I believe, helps blood flow and things like that. And when I took it, I felt great. It helped my stomach improve a lot. We've got some yelling dogs. It doesn't help
very
that.
upset poodle.
Yeah. And so I'm on a month right now of absolutely no medication because taking these peptides have allowed me to stop taking all prescription medications, like no more depression medicine, anxiety medicine, no more birth control, but that's not because of peptides, that's because of him. Thanks. So I have 0 prescription medications anymore, which feels amazing because it feels like most people just kind of accept the world of, I have a pill for this and that gives me a side effect, so I have a pill for that side effect. And, we end up taking like 10 pills and you just think it's normal life, but it's not. Like, there's ways to heal and not actually just cover something up. And so that's what peptides, I think, are the best thing for, is finding the root cause and healing rather than piling pills on top of pills on top of pills.
But we should preference that BBC and stuff isn't FDA approved or any of those organizations. So they haven't had as strict of testing. They've done a lot of rat studies.
Yeah, the FDA approved my breast implants, which nearly killed me. So
heavy metal poisoning.
The FDA can suck it for all I care. Sorry.
Kaylee's trying to get me shadow banned today.
They approve things that shouldn't be in your body, and then they don't approve things that shouldn't or should be in your body because
can potentially help your body.
Yeah, these can help heal you, and well, there's a lot of money to make it so you don't get to be better. So,
but BPC stands for body protective compound, which your body already produces. This just upregulates those and upregulates the receptors. So that's just how it works. Another one that we've taken is TA1, which is a great one for like immunity health. So especially when, the virus was out there. I'm not going to say the virus name, but you know what virus I'm talking about. It upregulates your T cells, which help fight like viruses that you've had in the past. Once you get like a certain cold, your body has those T cells and it gets stored in your protein, and then your body just knows how to fight that virus better.
Yeah. So TA1 has actually been used in studies for healing hepatitis C and B. C and B. I think those are both things. I think that's what I read. They've also been used in studies to help with HIV. So they've helped people test HIV negative after taking TA1. It's also one that they've tried to ban for no good reason other than it actually helps people.
Not enough testing.
But I will say we took it before we went on on a trip to an all-inclusive resort right after the virus times, and everybody was riding on airplanes getting sick, and we took it up until the morning we flew out, did our last injection, got on the airplane, went to all-inclusive resort, hung out with everybody in a foreign country, ate, drank, flew home, nothing.
Yeah, perfectly fine.
Yep, we did not get sick even once. And after our trip to Hawaii, I was doing anything in my power. So,
yeah, because we got sick in Hawaii, for those of you that don't know, for 7 days out of our 10-day trip, which sucked.
But yeah, so semaglutide, tirzepatide, BPC 157, TB 500, TA1, and KPV were the different peptides that we've got to experience. Well, I have, and there's a few people that I follow, and even if I don't agree with them on some things, I think they're amazingly knowledgeable in peptides.
I'm actually Jay Campbell.
Jay Campbell. There you go.
I'm currently using one of his products, which is a peptide cream.
Well, he recommends it, but
he recommends that. No, I think he's partnered with the guy who compounds it. But it's a cream. So a while ago, probably 2 or 3 months ago, I either had a major sprain or a minor tear in my forearm bicep area. So I've been using that for tomorrow will be 2 weeks. But it's starting to feel better. So it's one of those things, it takes a little bit of time to work, just like anything, but it feels much better than it did when I wasn't doing anything except for like icy hot Bengay kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So seems to be working.
I personally love listening to the things he has to say knowledge-wise. I think he's insanely knowledgeable, and he has spent his life studying this stuff, and he's not a sellout, so that's great. You don't just see a bunch of random shit because somebody wants money. He actually believes in the things he promotes. And same with Mind Pump. So, yeah, like Dr. Tina would be somebody to listen to if you have any interest in peptides, Mind Pump, Jay Campbell. There's books about it.
Tina?
Yeah.
Okay, that's her name.
But yeah, so basically, I mean...
So if anybody has any more questions, I think there's only 1 or 2 people in here. Go ahead and feel free to ask. If not, as always, I'm going to post this on my page. And if you have questions, feel free to ask in the comments, and we'll try to answer them. Once again, we're not doctors, so
not doctors.
It's just
personal
experience, wanting to hop on, kind of introduce people to it, and do your research. But
I recommend research. Yeah. Biohacking is pretty awesome. So, good luck. Get healthy. Biohack.
Yeah.
Bye.
Well, I guess nobody's asking any questions, so peace.
Oh, well, yeah, I figured that.
All right. Catch you all next week.